Welcome to episode number 11 of the Blue Water Running Podcast. I'm your host, Maren, and this podcast features and celebrates the accomplishments of high school and collegiate cross-country and track and field athletes from the Blue Water area of Michigan. In this episode, we will be talking with senior Grace Clemens of North Branch High School. Grace is an incredibly accomplished sprinter. This spring, she was named the Blue Water Area Conference MVP, winning the 100, 200, 400, and the 4x100 relay, making her a perfect 4-for-4 in championship competition. She recently won the 100, 200, 400, and was runner-up in the long jump at the Blue Water Meet of Champions, taking MVP honors there as well. She broke the 60-second barrier in the 400-meter dash in that meet for the first time, running 59.96 seconds. She has a 100-meter best of 12.31, a 200-meter best of 25.54, and her 4x100 relay set the school record at the Davison Twilight Invitational, running 51.06 seconds. Grace has been undefeated in the 100 and 400-meter dash the entire outdoor season and only has one second-place finish in the 200. All the rest of her season results were first-place finishes. She's never lost a 4x200 relay event this year and has finished first or second in every long jump competition she's entered outdoors in 2024. Grace was regional champion in the 100, 200, 4x100 relay, and runner-up in the long jump and will compete at the Division II state finals in these four events. Grace is heading to Tennessee Wesleyan University in the fall to continue her academic and athletic career. We'll hear from Grace about her training, goals, reflections on her high school career, and what she's looking forward to after graduation and beyond. Welcome to episode 11 of the Blue Water Running Podcast, Grace.
Thank you.
The first question I have for you, you probably know, is to tell us how you first got involved in the sport of track and field and about how many years you have been participating.
So I actually was a gymnast for 8 years until I fractured my growth plate. So, as a 13-year-old, I had a lot of emotions to deal with. So I actually took them out and kind of just started running. And then from there, I started running for my school in 7th grade. So then we had our COVID year. So I've been running for about 5 years now.
Okay, that sounds pretty painful. Fractured growth plate. What was it? Your leg? Was it your foot? Which one was it?
It was my growth plate in my heel.
Ooh, ouch.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would make it tough to keep tumbling, I would imagine. So.
Oh, yeah.
Well, you're a senior this year. So when the season began, did you have big goals that you were hoping to achieve for this year? And anything specific that you wanted to accomplish? And I realize that you're almost to the end, so some of those you may have already done.
Yeah, so my biggest thing was my cousin holds our 400 record at our school. So it's 59.89. So we've been going back and forth, and she's had it since 2001. So I've been really trying to get that this year, so that's one of my biggest goals, and I'm almost there. I just ran a 59.96. So I have Tuesday's my last chance to get it. And then my other one is probably break into the 25s in my 200 because for college, I really wanted to make that mark. And yeah, I actually got that too. And then I ended up getting our school record in that too. So that was really exciting.
You dipped under 60 seconds for the first time. That's a pretty big deal. So how did that feel? Was that exciting?
Oh, it was so exciting. I remember coming around the corner in the 400, and I just started screaming. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm almost there.
Yeah, that last 100 of the 400 is, I like to call it like the death crawl.
Oh, yeah.
The lactic acid hits, and it's just the longest part of the race. So
yeah, definitely.
That's usually where it's made or not for a sub 60. So great job. That's exciting. Well, your normal meet events are usually the 100, 200, 400, and long jump. Do you have a favorite out of all those four?
It's kind of a hard decision, but I would definitely say the 200 just because I love coming around the corner, in that straightaway. And we always joke, I just turn and burn. You just come around the corner, it just feels like you're flying almost.
Is there an event in track and field that you have not tried that you would like to?
I've always wanted to try pole vault, 100%. Like the gymnast in me just wants to try it so bad.
Have you ever given it a go or no?
My friend has a little setup at his house, so I have tried it before, but when I went to practice, I was like, Coach, just let me try it. I got it. And he was like, no. He shut the
Denied.
idea down really fast.
I've heard that from quite a few podcast guests that pole vault is kind of the bucket list track and field item.
Oh
And
yeah.
I don't know if it's just because it looks so awesome or if it's so challenging to think about flinging yourself over, a bar with a pole.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, it's definitely a popular answer. So it is the least favorite for me. So I find it interesting so many high schoolers would like to try that.
Oh yeah.
That's probably because I'm afraid of heights, though. So, well, you have competed quite extensively in indoor track as well. You've even
Mhm.
gone to the USATF Region 5 Junior Olympics in the long jump and some sprint events. So tell us about how you qualified for that competition and what that experience was like.
So I actually was running some open meets, not really knowing like what they all entailed. Like I was just going out and running to prepare myself for the next season. And then my sprint coach that I work with, he was kind of told me about the USA track and field stuff. And I was like, oh, like that sounds really interesting. So I kind of like got in there and then I ran a last minute qualifier, like last chance. And that's when I qualified for the regionals outdoor in Oakland. So it was crazy. Like I remember the last chance like qualifier, those girls are fast. Like it was a whole nother level that I've never been seen before or competed in before. Because like you have your high school states and then you have like your USA track and field. It was crazy. But I remember when I won regionals in the 100 and 200, and then that qualified me for nationals in Oregon. But I ended up actually not competing because of some personal things. But it was a crazy experience. And then indoor, I went to Kentucky for that was nationals indoor. Yeah, I was in Kentucky, and I actually missed All American by one place, but it's crazy. The whole nother like dedication, the athletes there, it's a whole nother level that like really opened my eyes to of like what the college level is going to be like.
Well, you've been pretty fast since middle school. You've won BWAC titles as a freshman, been steadily and consistently improving throughout your career. What do you find are the most important elements for you to be successful? For example, other athletes have mentioned their training or their nutrition or their sleep. Do you have anything specific that really works for you?
Um, my two biggest things are definitely sleep and nutrition. Like I'm that person I have to have my 7 to 8 hours of sleep. If I don't, I know my recovery is not going to be that good. And I used to have like bad sleeping habits, and then these past couple of years, probably 2, 3 years, I've noticed like I gotta get my sleep in if I want to recover to run good. Um, and then probably nutrition. I know a lot of athletes always think like later's faster. I was one of those athletes, and I would say same thing. Past 2, 3 years, I've noticed like I really have to watch my nutrition and know like lighter's not faster. You have to make sure you're getting all your proteins and everything in to be able to maintain your speed and your strength.
Do you do weight training outside of track and field practice? Do you have a specific program that you do for that?
I don't really have a specific program. I normally focus it more in the summer. My sprint coach will send me like a list of things to do, and I lift probably 2 to 3 days a week in the summer, but it's not really a big part of it right now, which 100% I think it should be. But yeah, I normally just focus in on the summer for weight training.
I'm going to assume that when you move up to the collegiate level, that'll be a larger part of your training program. They focus a lot on that for sprinters. So,
Yeah, I'm excited for that part.
yeah. Well, you ran cross country for a few seasons in high school, which is not all that common for many sprinters. And you did very well too. You had a personal best of 2029 and you made it to the state meet. What made you decide to try a distance sport and would you try it again?
So this is kind of a funny story. I never planned on running cross country. I was a freshman, and our cross country coach and track coach is the same. So he told me at one of the Caro cross country meets, he was like, if you run the open race, I'll run it with you. You just try it, and if you don't like it, you never have to run it again. And I was like, deal. So I ran it with him, and I ran like a 24, and I ended up beating coach. And then he was like, I think you should come run on our team. And I was like, no, I'm a sprinter. I can't do distance. That was really hard. And then it was actually, I think my sophomore year, we ran the 4x8 for track my freshman year too, and then we broke the record. So after I did that, I was kind of like, okay, maybe I could do distance. So sophomore year, I tried it, made the state, and then that's when I kind of got into with my sprint coach, and he was like, "What are you doing? Like, you are a sprinter. Why are you running cross country?" So that kind of opened my eyes to it, and I was like, "You're right. I don't even running fast that long is hard. Like, I'm not a distance girl. I can't do this." So I kind of drifted off a little bit my junior year and just ran some meets, but then my senior year, I was like, "Yeah, I can't do this distance thing anymore."
Well, I just want you to know, time-wise, that's that's pretty impressive for somebody who, quote, says they're not a distance runner. So I wouldn't say you aren't. Maybe it just wasn't in your best interest at that time, perhaps. Who knows?
Yeah.
Well, what would be your advice to someone, maybe a distance runner, who hasn't sprinted or long jumped before, and maybe they want to try something shorter or they want to try that field event? What would you recommend to them as far as improving their speed or their skills or perhaps a jump distance? Anything specific you would recommend?
Um, I'm not really like a specialist per se for jumping. I just started that. But for running, I definitely would say your start is your biggest thing. Like you can have your speed, but if you get beat out of the blocks and those people also have your speed, it's really hard to come back out of your dry phase and catch up to them sometimes. So I would definitely say your start is your biggest thing. And then your form. I never knew there was a right way to run until I started going to my sprint coach. And yeah, form is a big thing, honestly.
It's interesting that you say that because I've read several books about running form, and there's this whole mindset that you just go run and however you do it naturally is what's best for you. But that doesn't happen in other sports.
Right.
Golfers are not just swinging a golf club however it comes to them, and tennis players are not just, smacking the ball however it comes to them. They work a lot on technique and form, and the same is
Mhm.
true for running. And I think that gets neglected quite a bit. So,
Oh, yeah.
yeah. Well, you're committed to Tennessee Wesleyan, correct?
Yes.
So you're going to head there in the fall and continue your academic and athletic career.
Mhm.
What made you decide on that school, and what are you most looking forward to?
I always wanted to go out of state for college. I knew the South was a big thing for me. My family's from the South, so I feel like that's always where my heart is. But I first started looking at like D1 schools. Um, like I looked at University of Tennessee, and I just noticed like it wasn't the best fit for me. Coming from North Branch, a lot of people know it's a really small town where they don't even know what North Branch is. So I'm a really small town girl and I like my home feel. So as soon as I went on Tennessee Wesleyan's campus, it was really homey. Like I met the coach and the girls are so nice there and so welcoming. Like I knew once I met the coach that this was probably going to be the fit for me. And then he introduced me to like the team. And I remember one of the girls like came up and hugged me. And I was like, I don't even know these people, but they're so like nice and welcoming. And it really made me feel like home and almost like a North Branch feel just because of how everyone was so humble and kind. Um, but definitely most excited for the competition there. They have really good girls and a good team. And of course, the warm weather. I'm so excited to be in the warmth.
Yeah, I can't blame you there. That's a definite plus.
Yes.
Well, the fact that you're a Southern girl at heart explains the cowgirl, I guess, cowgirl boots between races I've seen you
Oh,
in.
yeah.
Yes, that makes sense now.
Yes.
Is there an event you would like to try at the collegiate level that would be new to you? Or do you think you'll probably keep running the same events, relays, maybe long jump that you're doing now?
I definitely will probably still just keep with my normal events. I want to try the steeplechase, but that's a distance race and not my cup of tea, but I always wanted to just try it once. But definitely will probably just stick to my sprints and relays and some jumps.
Well, going off of your cross country experience, you might be able to give steeplechase a chance. You
Oh
never
yeah.
know. And being a gymnast, you're probably a good jumper. You're also a long jumper, so hey,
Yeah.
don't count it out. That's kind of the sleeper event. Sometimes athletes from all different kinds of experience find that to be kind of their niche. So you never know.
That's true, yeah.
What do you think you will miss about high school running the most?
I definitely want to miss my team. It's hard because like I've been with them for 4 years and they turn into my family. And even like the guys' team, like we're different teams, but in the end, like we'll practice at the same time. Sometimes we'll practice together. And like that atmosphere, I'm definitely gonna miss a lot. I know I'll have it in college, but it's just hard because like I grew up with those people. So definitely gonna miss my team and definitely my coach running back and forth on the field, screaming from one end to the other.
That is a common sight, yes.
Yes.
Well, what is one of your best memories or moments from all your years of sports?
Definitely freshman year. We went to the States for the 4x4 and the 4x2, but definitely the 4x4. It was me, Erin Wadley, Alyssa Boucher, and Haley Bissett. And I was the only freshman on that relay. And we kind of had like odds against us. Like we were just coming in. We were our first relay team from North Branch to go to States for the girls. And we had just gotten so close to the school record. And I remember being the anchor and coming around the corner and we got the school record and we got all state. Oh my gosh, it was so exciting coming as a freshman, having that experience.
Yeah, that's a great way to cap off your first year of high school. I mean,
Yeah.
most freshmen can't say they've done that in the first year, so that's a pretty exciting accomplishment. Well, what is your advice for the upcoming seniors? So they're a year behind you. They're going to come up next year and be 12th graders. What's your advice to them?
Definitely on the track, don't burn yourself out just to say you're the best athlete, you're the best runner. Make sure you enjoy it and make sure to have fun and always remember your love for the sport and just don't get lost in all the glory and achievements and things like that.
Do you have a favorite meet from your years of competing?
Definitely the Carol Thumb Meet of Champs this Tuesday.
Yep, coming up.
Um, it's the best of the best, and like those are a lot of your athletes you're gonna see at states or going to states. I love the lighting of the torch. It's so cool. I always have found it fascinating, and the energy at that meet. It's amazing. I love it.
What are you planning on running tomorrow?
I'll run the 100, 200, 400, and long jump.
Okay. So the gauntlet,
Yeah,
the regular routine.
yeah.
My husband wanted to throw out to you. He said, "Tell her she should try the 800." He says that any good sprinter or a good 400 runner can always be a great 800 runner. So,
800.
keep that in mind.
I will. I mean, I did do that my freshman year, the 4 by
True.
8
That's
So,
true. So you kind of
yeah.
know what that's all about.
Oh yeah.
Well, what are your hobbies and interests outside of track? What do you like to do in your spare time when you're not at school or you're not competing in athletics?
I mean, being a small town girl, I love my hunting seasons. I love deer hunting in the fall, fishing, bonfires. I love listening to music. If I'm driving, if I'm cleaning, anything, I got music going. Um, and I'm very Christian. I love my Bible. I love watching the sunset and reading it. Um, yeah, I'm pretty laid back.
Do you have a favorite artist or song that you'd like to share with us?
Um, right now, I can pull up my playlist real quick.
I know it's hard to pick just one when people
I
ask you
know
that question.
it's so hard to pick. I love my old music. I will say that. If I had to pick a favorite, honestly, it's probably Sold by John Michael Montgomery Jr. I love my old country.
Okay, well, what do you consider old? Because it's funny when I hear high schoolers say that because they're like, I love oldies. And then they're whipping out Michael Jackson. I'm like, okay, that was from when I was 10. So,
Oh, goodness. Gosh, I don't want to like diss my mom, but probably like 80s country, like,
I knew it.
yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I guess the 80s is pretty old at this point. I knew I was officially, quote, old when I turned on the oldie station and they had Michael Jackson on. And I was like, what? This isn't oldies. But I guess it is now. So.
That's so funny. Yeah.
Are there any other older collegiate or professional athletes that you like to follow or that you keep up with?
The athlete I most likely keep up with, it's kind of weird because it's not a track athlete, but it's Simone Biles. I've always looked up to her, and especially the past season for the Olympics, like just seeing her and her strength, that's definitely someone I would follow and like look up to the most.
Yeah, she's lived through a lot of struggles and challenges. And in the world of gymnastics, she's considered pretty old, actually.
Yeah.
So, and she's still absolutely dominating everyone. So,
Oh, yeah.
it's exciting to watch her. I think she's going to the Olympics, yes? Or have they not decided that yet?
I know they were talking about she was possibly coming back again. Yeah.
Okay. Be interesting to see. Well, one last question, Grace, to wrap up our conversation. If you could go for a run anywhere in the world, where would you choose to go and who would it be with?
Probably, I want to say it's the Nike World Headquarters track. It's through the woods in Oregon. I would love to go run through that. And oh my goodness, I would definitely probably take my teammate, Rowan Conley, with me. Oh, we would have so much fun.
Yeah, and it's a mecca for athletes. I mean, there's a lot of professional athletes that live and train there. And then there's the Olympic trials are going to be held this summer in Eugene, Oregon. So It's going to be very exciting.
Definitely.
Well, Grace, I appreciate you taking the time out of your day to chat with me. You have the thumb meet coming up, then the state meet, and that will cap off an amazing high school career, hopefully with some more achievements that you're looking to accomplish. And I'll be rooting for you and wishing you the best in your collegiate career as well.
Thank you so much.
Until next time, I'll leave you with this quote by Simone Biles. A successful competition for me is always going out there and putting 100% into whatever I'm doing. It's not always winning. People, I think, mistake that it's just winning. Sometimes it could be, but for me, it's hitting the best sets I can, gaining confidence, and having a good time and having fun. Once again, thank you so much for tuning into today's Blue Water Running Podcast. I can't wait to feature more cross-country and track and field athletes from the Blue Water area, so stay tuned because it just might be you. If you enjoyed today's podcast, please share, subscribe, and leave a review. You can find the Blue Water Running Podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music, and other major media players. You can also ask Alexa to play the Blue Water Running Podcast. If you have an idea for a great topic or guest you'd like to hear about, feel free to contact me through the website links or show notes. You can follow Blue Water Running on Instagram, X, TikTok, Facebook, and YouTube. You can also find meet and athlete reports and articles at www.bluewaterrunning.org.